Hello, hello, witches and wizards, and welcome back to Potterwatch, the unofficial, voted for by me, best podcast on everything Wizarding World, Harry Potter related. We're on episode 3 now, and before we dive into all the fun magic we have, including updates on community managers for Hogwarts Legacy 2, breaking down the documentary series, Finding Harry, the making of Harry Potter, of course, people's reactions, very strange reactions I may add, to only 8 episodes for Philosopher's Stone. Have they read the book? I just want to say a massive thank you to you all for the support and engagement we've had on the first 2 episodes. If you've not watched either, go back and watch them. There'll probably be cards and things around the screen. Episode 1, of course, was an introduction, a bit about me, and then a breakdown of the HBO trailer and whether or not the show is actually necessary. And I've still got some qualms about that, but I'm definitely a lot more positive after the week we've had, and I'm more excited, especially after the documentary. But also, we had some fun with some quizzes, and of course, as episode 2, as it was a Friday, going forward each week, the even number episodes, so 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? Harry Potter, and Potterwatch, of course. We are going to be breaking down one chapter each week from the Harry Potter books, starting with The Boy Who Lived, finishing with The Floor of a Plan. Of course, episode 2 being the first one. We brought down The Boy Who Lived, and there was some really fun stuff. People saying they're going to read along with me. Love that. And of course, this Friday, we'll be breaking down The Vanishing Glass. So leave your thoughts on that. I'm going to be recording that on Thursday, so get your questions in early, get your thoughts in it early, and you never know, they might make their way into the podcast. And if you've got questions for our Wednesday episodes, where we'll be touching on breaking down how I'd make the series, ranking books, films, chapters, characters, the lot, leave your thoughts, and again, they may find their way in. And if you are watching visually, you might notice I did complete my Harry Potter Philosopher's Stone 25-year edition Legos, and I'll probably show that in a bit, but I'm scared I'll smash it, because I'm a bit like Neville Longbottom, I'm a little bit clumsy. So of course, as I've laid out, today we're going to be touching on Hogwarts Legacy 2 and the new community manager Avalanche, the documentary series, and then some fun quizzes to end off. So before we dive into the magic and into the pensieve, do like, subscribe, comment, hype the video, and share. Okay, let's get into this. So yes, I was going to, of course, start with the documentary series because it was so much fun to have out of that, breaking down the differences between the film, discussing what the actors saw and what we saw ourselves. But yesterday, or 2 days ago, I only got the news yesterday because I'm not really a Reddit lurker at all. We got an update on Hogwarts Legacy 2 and Avalanche's new community manager. So I don't know if you know about myself, if you're not a regular listener to the podcast or know my other channel, Harry Potter Explained. Link down below, guys. Go check it out. I am a huge Harry Potter video game nerd. I know the games like the back of my hand. I've played them, I can speedrun them, get the achievements, everything. I've got a whole channel dedicated to my most popular videos and my bonus parts of how to get the sort of collectibles in the game. I support people, obviously you can see above me, all the games, Hogwarts Legacy stuff. And I was a huge Hogwarts Legacy YouTuber. I had a Hogwarts Legacy Explained YouTube channel, and I was involved with like people like Spectre Go, Retro, who I can call a friend in the community. Podcast now, Alex. I was on live streams. I've communicated with devs. You know, I've followed them. They follow me on Twitter, things like that. So I'm really involved in it, and obviously I'm hugely excited for Hogwarts Legacy 2. Hopefully you guys are. And a post going, "Hi, I'm Cody, the new community manager." Of course, we had the amazing Chandler Wood for the first game, who was brilliant in engaging the community and communicating with us, having the sort of like live streams and the events where Expecto Go went, when Retro went, you know, when all these guys, Ben went to play the game, all these guys got to do it, and Chandler Wood was at the forefront of it. He sadly left Avalanche last year, but we now have Cody, and he's also called Vatnar, I believe, is like his actual, you know, sort of like Reddit name, or, you know, his name in the community. So he goes, "Is this what it feels like to get your Hogwarts acceptance letter? Hi everyone, I'm Cody, but you can call me Vatnar. I'm honoured to share that I recently joined Avalanche Software as the new community manager. TLDR, I'm here to be the bridge between Avalanche and you, the Hogwarts Legacy community. First things first, who is this guy? Well, I'm a Midwestern boy, but I've been living in South California for a few years, enjoying frequent beach days and catching the occasional wave whenever possible. And obviously, the picture, he does look like a surfer. I've been a community manager in gaming for several years, and of course, I'm a Harry Potter fan. I grew up reading the books and waiting outside the theatres for each movie release, and now I'm ecstatic to be part of the Hogwarts Legacy community. I'll be honest, Hogwarts Legacy really pulled me into the Wizarding World, and furthering I got, the harder it was to put down. I won't pretend that I'm an expert quite yet, but I think I'm well on my way. Between the game, the lore, rabbit holes, and this community, I reckon it won't be long before I can rattle off obscure trivia tidbits without thinking twice. And not to blow my own horn, that's the sort of level I am. Stay around for the quiz. I've only just started, and while I'm finding my footing, the goal is straightforward: to make this space easily worth showing up to. This means celebrating the amazing things you're creating, making sure your voices and feedback reach the right people, and keeping things welcoming and inclusive for everyone. While I'm not kicking back in the Hufflepuff common room, you'll find me lurking conversations, listening, interacting with the community, and probably asking a lot of questions, which I love. I'm very interested in hearing what players think about the game. I promise I'm friendly than a Chinese chomping cabbage. So don't be a stranger and feel free to say hi. And obviously, that's amazing. That's what you expect from a community manager. You're asking questions, putting out polls, obviously in Discords, Reddits, things like that. And that's what I'm excited about. But of course, we have been hearing stuff and seeing stuff about job postings, about trailers, making trailers, getting together people ready for something. So of course, Expecto Go put together a great thread. So pair the community manager announcement with the video capture artist announcement in 2025, eventually closing in 26, so very early. A position you need to capture cinematic gameplay sequences for use in trailers, social media presentations, etc., both in the CM and VC needed for marketing. Further providing the importance of a CM announces WBD CEO of Streaming and Games, JB Peretta, announcing Variety, the real fruits will start coming 27. So obviously, this sort of thing is now, we're expecting announcements, trailers, something in the summer, I would bet, or obviously Harry Potter Day around that time, so that's September. So I reckon July to September, we'll probably start to hear things about Hogwarts Legacy 2, what it's going to be about, or it could be the other game, sort of like that, the MMO game for the Wizarding World. It could be either of them, to be honest, but I expect we'll start to hear really big things in the next few months. People are going to be starting to capture trailers. We've got our community manager in place. And of course, there's been talks about links between the TV show and Hogwarts Legacy. Well, what would be better than having them, just as the TV show ends like February time next year, Hogwarts Legacy 2 pops up 4 years after, which I think is a fair summary for Hogwarts Legacy. If you think God of War and God of War Ragnarok was about 4 years apart, Hogwarts Legacy could be a 4-year game to me, because you've got the castle, you can add a little bit few things to it, you've got pretty much the open world, again you can expand on it, edit it a bit, but you've got the mold there, you're not having to create a brand new world from scratch. You've got a lot of basis. I think like a Jedi Fallen Order to Jedi Survivor, that was about 4 years. I think you can make a good AAA game in 4 years if you've got a lot of the sort of foundations in place. It doesn't have to be 10 years like a GTA or an 8 years like a Red Dead. Games can be done like that. So yeah, I'm fully in the camp. We should start to hear stuff with these sort of announcements being made. Maybe in the summer, maybe September 1st. And of course, we'll be covering it here on the podcast and, of course, on my channel, Hogwarts Legacy Explainer. Harry Potter Legacy Explained. So let's now go into the Making Harry Potter documentary that aired on HBO this week. So yes, Easter Sunday was a real treat for me. I mean, I did have to pay £6 for it, and I probably won't use HBO again for a while. I'll probably forget to cancel it, but I did pay the £6, even though I'm skeptical, not that too interested, but I guess I do a podcast. I guess I am interested. I'm just kidding myself. For the Making Harry Potter, Finding Harry documentary that aired at 8 p.m, I was straight away in there, boom, 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 8:01, got it on. 30 minutes of pure joy, I will be honest. It gave us enough where it hooks you. It's like, oh, that's cool, that's interesting. Gives you enough to discuss and be like, oh, actually, was it that preferred in the film, or it's very different? Oh, there's this background picture, but it doesn't give you enough where you know, like, oh, this is episode 1, this is episode 2, this is episode 3. Oh, that's what Voldemort looks like. Oh, that's what Quirrell sounds like. Or you've still got a lot to go. You don't even know what um, Dumbledore sounds like. You know, obviously, we just hear from John Lithgow in his traditional American accent, doing a very beautiful sort of interview, talking about it. My biggest takeaway before we begin, and it's probably because I'm ignorant and I'm stupid and I just don't keep up these things. The guy who's playing Harry, Dominic, I'm just gonna call him Dom. He's from Glasgow. What? How amazingly talented do you have to be at 10 years old to be able to go from a pretty strong Glaswegian accent, you know, proper good Scottish accent, to that sort of, I've always wanted to find out about my parents, like that really softly spoken southern Dan Ratcliffe voice at 10 years old, 11 years old. That is crazy talent. Like, perfect. You know, to be able to do that, that is a real skill of an actor, and to have that in your locker at that age is amazing. So I guess let's just talk on the three characters first of all. The way they sort of described them, I like, that's very casting directory sort of talk and bollocks, basically. Like when we talk about like what we're looking for in Hermione, we're not looking for like main character energy in Hermione. I don't think at any point does Hermione Granger display main character energy. You know, she's got a hand up all the time. Yes, she knows, but she's so quiet and timid like 99% of the time. You know, when she's not in class. So I think that sort of stuff like is just a bit of like mumbo jumbo bollocks. Like when people talk about like footballers and we're like, oh, he's got to be good in zone 12, or we're looking at, you know, the NFL draft, and most of the time all the other shit that comes along with it, it's just bollocks. So I did not find I liked watching the little poems and the stuff they did, and how they were found. Um, but yeah, sort of like that talk with them two just seemed a bit bollocks and sort of like too much talk. Like we don't care about that part. Like, yeah, cool, you're that's what. But the sort of notes we're looking at, I don't think if we read the books, I don't think we'd be noting them down as like the traits we'd be looking for a Harry. Like Harry not trusting adults. I've never once read any of the Harry Potter books and thought, "Oh, this guy don't like." He's one of his biggest things is trusting Albus Dumbledore, trusting in Hagrid. He trusts a lot. You know, Sirius, Remus. He trusts a lot of adults. I'm like, what have we read or watched this? Like, where does he got? The only two people he doesn't trust is Snape and Cornelius Fudge. Really, like at times he doesn't trust. Obviously, Rufus Scrimgeour either after that, but there's not a time where it's like, oh, Mr. Weasley, I don't trust you. No, like it's just a load of bollocks that a trait. Like, oh, he's grown up not trusting adults. Like, no, he hasn't. Where have we got that from? But I did enjoy seeing, like I say, their sort of things. And then obviously the interview with John Lithgow, talking about obviously how, yeah, it is his last big thing. And he's been in a lot of big stuff. You know, he's done a lot of stuff in his career. I mean, obviously, a lot of people know him from Shrek. A lot of people know him from Dexter and various other things. You know, I know the first time I really remember, like, obviously, I knew his voice from Shrek, but what's How I Met Your Mother? He's in that as the Barney's dad, who he thought he was like his cool uncle. But obviously, yeah, to come into this is the first ever American to really like have a big role. Um, you know, in the British sense, you know, I know there's Americans in Fantastic Beasts, but that's because it was in New York. And yeah, just be like, yeah, I am going to be 88. And obviously, it sort of does. It probably scares him, thinking, oh God, like, yeah, when we put it that way, will I make it through it? Because you never know what's going to happen. And obviously, if every bone in my body crossed, he does. You know, Richard Harris was 72 when he sadly passed away. It's not like he was in his 80s. You know, so people a lot younger, like Mike Gambon was what, 80 when he was the same age as John Lithgow is now. When he passed away, you know, so he was a lot younger playing Albus Dumbledore. So we got a proper old man. I'm sure he doesn't mind saying that, but I love that sort of thing of like, yeah, we're going to hear about the things going on. I like the way he described it. The things going on the wings, you know about it and you're aware of it if you've read Pottermore or you've got the extra information from the author and you've heard stuff. And you've even in the books how it's alluded to. We're going to be able to see that stuff. You know, for example, there's the sort of thing where people think McGonagall when she's pitching it's at Hermione's house, and that makes sense. So because I think is it not Dumbledore who goes round to Lily to explain she's a witch? I could be wrong on that. It could be McGonagall as well. But again, do I want to see that? Sort of. Will it add anything to me? Probably not. But yeah, again, we've got 8 episodes. We got to flesh it out. So definitely something I'm intrigued by. And that'd be something cool to see. I guess we should touch then on the sets. Gringotts, I've seen this debate, and yeah, I've gone back. Obviously, I'm currently reading the books. I've just read Diagon Alley. Yeah, it seems. Someone put this so well. It's like the film Gringotts is magical. This one just looks real, and it doesn't even look like it's in Diagon Alley. It looks like it's on Grimmauld Place. I don't know how out of everything I saw on this, the Great Hall, the Entrance Hall, courtyards, Privet Drive. I will get onto Privet Drive actually. Gringotts is one where I've gone, yeah, I'm not feeling that. That looks like a building. Magic versus real, and it looks too real. It looks like it's not in Diagon Alley, and I love the sort of wonkiness, the craziness, it's just the majesticness of Gringotts in the film. And this is, you don't worry, this isn't going to be a section of me just bitching and whining about how everything was better in the film. This was better in the film. The Punch and Judy boxes is way better than the box for Bertie Box Beans. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, but Gringotts to me is like, yeah, I'm not feeling that one. That doesn't feel majestic, magical, amazing enough for me. And I'll be honest with that. And I'm prepared for other people to go, I really liked that. But yeah, Gringotts for me didn't do it. On the other hand, the other stuff for Diagon Alley, I mean, obviously it's very close to what the film is. We're not ripping up trees and changing it, unlike Gringotts. There's a lot of the shops you've never heard of though, which is a bit odd when, like, there's so many shops we know there's going to be Flourish and Blocks, Ollivander, but there's a lot of creative shops, and I feel like you could just go on the Harry Potter wiki, and I can't remember seeing the shop titles there. Maybe I'm wrong, but it feels like they've created shops for the show rather than using the pre-existing shops, like a Gambling Japes, which I think is there, by the way. I think people have mentioned that. But I did like the look of it, and I liked the Tale of the Three Brothers. No, I think it was Bead Over Bard that had sort of like flown and encrusted about. The Ollivander sign was cool. So yeah, I liked all that. I did like and the sort of like upstairs stuff, and the fire crab that can really shoot fire. Like, I know you play the games, if you play them, they can be a pain in the ass, but literally, it must be painful shooting fire from your backside. But that fire could go. So yeah, I was impressed with that. The Great Hall looks immensely similar, except it's got like the balcony that walks around it. So again, I couldn't tell if they've just added to the Great Hall set that we know and love, or if it's completely different. Again, the train and platform 9 3/4 looks basically the same. It's got a cafe. Well done. Privet Drive, again, it's the house, the neatness of the ones on the film, perfect. This one, it looks like around me, so I live in Manchester, and we've got a lot of big houses like that are like that sort of red brick, and it never feels as neat and like pure as that sort of brownstone neatness of the film. So again, I'm leaning towards the films on that one, but that's just a personal one. That's probably nothing and a bit silly. And then let's just get into some of the other stuff, like the smaller stuff. So the packaging of the Bertie Box Beans, people have been having a debate, and I've got no dog in this fight. I love a Punch and Judy, and he's iconic, and it's being in the games, it's being in the films. You can buy them like that. But I sort of like the Jack and the Beanstalk style. It's for beans. You got Jack crawling up, and we'll get onto the nature sort of stuff in a minute because it is going a bit OTT with that, I think. The chocolate frogs, I like. I mean, again, because of the films and the games, which I'm a game guy. They again are really iconic. So I like the sort of the box, the sort of lily pad opening up. I don't like the frog at all. Not the frog just doesn't look. When we're talking chocolate frog, I am thinking, the chocolate frog. It's a frog that's made of chocolate. Not this little green thing where you bite it and it's got chocolate. I'm just not a fan of that one. I will give them that completely. Like the box, don't like the chocolate. Butterbeer looks brilliant, perfect, like that. Obviously, like the Leaky Cauldron. Um, love the picture of Petunia's wedding where you see Lily's parents, because I'm guessing you're going to be able to see them in the Mirror of Erised. I'm not thinking we've just got a pair, because they've made it look very 80s. The sort of the way they've done it in the photograph, because back in 1999 when this, 2000 when this kind of film, you didn't get to do much to make a photo look old. Obviously, now you do to make a photo look 40 years older than it should be. So the way, even the 70s, they could have got married in 79. Actually, thinking about it, the way they've done it, perfect. The way they look, my grandma's got a picture with her mum in the 70s, in the 80s, and it looks exactly like that. And obviously, I expect we might see in the Mirror of Erised more than just James and Lily. You'll see all of his family. So again, I'm excited to see if we do see that. We saw a drawing of Peeves and Filch, and obviously we've still not heard who's playing Peeves yet, but we do know he's going to be in there. Obviously, we know the amazing, brilliant, funny Paul Whitehouse will be playing Filch. And then from there, Hagrid looks, it looks a bit weird. It's too light when they're getting the students there, by the way. It should be dark in September at like 5, 6 o'clock. Sort that out. Why is it so light? But yeah, then he looks too jovial, and he doesn't look scraggy or rough enough for me. Snape looked much better. He had like an actual sort of like, not the zip up baggy thing he had in the sort of that one picture. So I liked how Snape looked. And again, I just liked it all. It was fun, and obviously seeing the one thing I didn't get though, can you not have real owls anymore? Why are we making animatronic owls? Can we not have real ones? Are you not allowed them anymore? Is that like banned to have like actual real animals? I don't know, but there we go. The care and what I loved was the amount of people who either worked on the previous Potter films, or parents or family members worked on them, and they're now working on them, or they're still working on them. It's like, wow, 30 years of life almost. That is lovely to see, and crazy dedication. And yeah, I was impressed by it all. I will admit, it was good to see it. I enjoyed it. And hopefully we do more. We get to see more stuff and more sort of like the animatronic side, or the sort of the costume design again. This nature thing is like all wizards, like the leaf prints on Dumbledore. All wizard comes from nature. This tree thing, they're getting a bit too obsessed with. Like, I get it, and it's cool to have like a thing, but yeah, not everything needs to be derived from that. I liked the 90s stuff and how they found all the 90s, but yeah, the wizard stuff of it needs to be all nature and all this, like trees, nature, trees. And one last thing, I'm not sold on the Hogwarts symbol yet. The snake wrapped around, lion, eagle, badger on lion, badger, and eagle on top. This H. I think I still prefer the original, which I have in here. Which obviously this is someone else's book I bought, so someone must have had this before me because it's got Sandy in. But that is the crest I prefer. When was this book? So is this before the film? Let's have a look. Yeah, because Goblet of Fire's not out yet. This book is from 1998. So no, it can't be, because it's got Prisoner. It must be 2000. Anyway, that's the crest I prefer. But what we gotta do. But no, overall, really fun documentary. Let's just get on to the 8-episode quandary. So just before our beautiful pub quiz, because I decided it's such a sunny day, it's really nice. Of course, I'm going to go and have a few pints after, and we're going to do the Hogsmeade pub quiz right after this. We'll touch on the 8 episodes, 8 hours, so an hour episode each. People say it's not enough, and that baffles me. For a book, this book, that is 223 pages long, which the film missed, about half an hour of content probably from the film, like what was cut. Following Vernon to work, a bit of the underground that was deleted scene anyway, so you can watch that on, if you have it. There's a 2 hour 35-minute version where that's actually there. They missed the second Quidditch game. Yeah, they missed a few trials. They missed delivering Norbert up to the top of the tower. They didn't miss too much, and people are going, they've got 6 hours more, and that's not enough. Like, what? It's more than enough. Yes, for later books, you might want to extend it to 12, 13, 14 episodes, but I think for the first 3 books, 8 episodes is more than enough, especially when they're branching out. And as John Lithgow said, we're in the wings, seeing Dumbledore speak to Nicholas Flamel, seeing maybe McGonagall go to Hermione, seeing Draco and Malfoy Manor. Cornelius Fudge is already being cast, so is he in this film somehow? Maybe just on a newspaper? Because as we know, when Hagrid's reading the paper on the board, it's like, Cornelius Fudge fucked up again. Obviously, don't say that, but you know. So yeah, I'm just interested in that. Like, what is the logic that it's not enough? That is way more than enough. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but this is a 17-chapter book. You can basically do 2 chapters in episodes. You know, Harry gets to Dursley's Vanishing Glass, episode 1. Episode 2, missing Letters from No One, up to Keeper Keys. Episode 3, Diagon Alley to the train, to the knock at Hogwarts. Episode 4, Hogwarts. So you got Sorting Hat, you got Potions Master. Episode 6, Halloween, etc., etc. You've got a lot of stuff. I think I messed that up. So you know, it's nice and easy. It is easily doable, but I just didn't get that at all. Like, people whinging, talking about it, and obviously some smaller Harry Potter stuff. Tom Felton's playing Draco Malfoy in that play, but I don't really want to speak about. For another 8 months in the US, he was meant to stop this week, but he's extended, so that's nice. If you're out in New York on Broadway, you can see Draco Malfoy. Tom Felton played Draco Malfoy. Fun. But yes, I think it's time to get into a quiz. Ooh. So here we go, the Wizarding World pub quiz. Thirsty for some trivia? Well, grab a butterbeer and settle down for a traditional British pub quiz all about pubs. From Leaky Cauldron to the Three Broomsticks, how well do you know your Wizarding World ings? And this seemed like right up my alley, because I love a good pub. Question 1. In which Wizarding World pub did Harry have his first taste of butterbeer? Of course, it is in the Three Broomsticks, in Prisoner of Azkaban. Which Hogwarts professor does Harry first meet in the Leaky Cauldron? It is Professor Quirrell. The secret passageway from the Hogshead pub to Hogwarts requirements were concealed by the portrait of who? Ariana Dumbledore. Don't even need multiple choice so far. On Harry's first visit to the Three Broomsticks, which piece of information did he learn from an overheard conversation? Sirius Black was his godfather, and all the other stuff, like how he was a secret keeper, etc., etc. Where in the UK is the Leaky Cauldron located? It's a famous place, don't you know? Down in London town. This is actually a really easy quiz. Which rather important school club was founded in the Hogshead? Dumbledore's Army. We've not had a challenge at all here. Who ran the Three Broomsticks pub when Harry was at Hogwarts? Serona right? No, of course not. It was Madame Rosmerta. Which student was given a cursed necklace by an imperious Madame Rosmerta in the Three Broomsticks? It was Katie Bell. 2 questions to go. The secret entranceway to Diagon Alley is for Leaky Cauldron. Like Diagon Alley, Leaky Cauldron. Hagrid won Norbert the Dragon playing cards in the Hoghead. What type of dragon was Norbert? He was a Norwegian Ridgeback, don't you know? And there we go. 10 out of 10. Absolutely smashed it. We're big nerds. We're the champion. And that is where, sadly, episode 3 of Potterwatch has come to an end. But of course, I hope you've enjoyed. If you have, leave a like, subscribe, share your thoughts with me. Do come back next time for chapter 2 of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Breakdown chapter by chapter as we look at the Vanishing Glass. Of course, hype the video too. Check out my other channel.